You ever given your time, your kindness, your heart, only to realize that you were an afterthought to the very people you prioritized? If you have, let me tell you something, this is your wake-up call. You were not put on this earth to convince anyone of your worth. Read that again, you are not here to beg for a seat at a table that doesn't see your value. If someone can't appreciate who you are, then that is not your problem to fix, it's their loss to carry. Too often we stay where we are tolerated instead of going where we are celebrated. We accept crumbs of attention, bare minimum effort, and lukewarm love because we believe that's all we deserve. But here's the truth, the way people treat you is a reflection of how they see you. And more importantly, how you allow yourself to be treated. So let's get honest, have you set the standard or have you let others dictate it for you? Because every time you shrink yourself to fit into spaces that don't respect you, you teach them that it's okay. It's not, you see, boundaries aren't walls to keep people out, they are the gates that protect your peace. And when someone continuously crosses the lines you've drawn, they're showing you exactly how much they value you, which, let's be real, isn't much. So I need you to hear this. This rejection is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your redirection. When someone doesn't value you, when they don't choose you, it's a gift wrapped in pain. It's life telling you this is not your place. Keep moving. And I get it, walking away is hard, it's uncomfortable, but courage was never supposed to feel comfortable. Courage is making the choice to leave the table when you realize respect is no longer being served, because your time, your energy, your love, they are sacred. And they deserve to be poured into people who see you, hear you, who cherish you. So if they don't value you, this is your wake-up call. It's time to stop waiting for them to notice your worth and start walking toward the people who already do. Too many of us go through life waiting for someone else to hand us a permission slip that says you are enough. We seek validation in relationships, approval. People show you what they think of you, believe them. Stop ignoring red flags and start paying attention. From bosses, admiration, from friends, like we're collecting little tokens of worthiness, hoping that one day we'll have enough to finally believe in ourselves. But let me tell you something, if your sense of self is built on the shaky foundation of other people's opinions, you will always be at their mercy. The mercy, draw their approval. Your confidence crumbles the second they stop clapping. You start doubting, and that is no way to live. Real self-worth, the kind that no one can take away, has to come from within. It has to be something that's built, not borrowed. It means knowing deep in your bones that your value isn't dependent on who accepts you, who likes you, who decides you're good enough. It means understanding that your worth was never up for negotiation in the first place. Think about this. When you were a baby fresh into this world, did you have to prove anything to be worthy of love? No, you just were. You existed, and that was enough. But somewhere along the way, the world convinced you that you had to earn what was already yours. We started measuring our worth by external things, our productivity, our looks, our success, the way people treat us. When we don't get the validation we see, speak, we feel empty. But here's the truth, your worth is not something that can be given or taken away. It is inherent, it is non-negotiable, it is yours, no matter who recognizes it. So if they don't see your value, that's fine. If they don't affect you, that's their problem, not yours. Their inability to recognize your worth says everything about them and nothing about you. The moment you stop looking outward for approval, start looking inward for affirmation, everything changes. Because once you know who you are, once you truly own your worth, you stop settling for places, people, and situations that don't honor it. That is where your power lies. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about protecting what's sacred you. They define where you end and where someone else begins. The way people respond to your boundaries tells you everything you need to know about how they value you. Let's get something straight. If someone truly cares about you, they will respect the lines you draw. They won't guilt trip you for saying no. They won't make you feel selfish for protecting your energy. They won't test your limits just to see how much they can get away with. But when people don't value you, they don't respect your boundaries. Either they ignore your needs, overstep your limits, then act surprised when you finally push back. These are the same people who get upset when you stop playing by the unspoken rules that only benefit them. They call you different. Deet for setting, they call you too much when you demand respect. But here's what I need you to understand. Every time you let someone cross a boundary, you send them a silent message, this is okay. And every time you enforce one, you send another message, I respect myself too much to accept this. So ask yourself, what stopped begging for a seat at the wrong table? You don't need to prove your worth to people who don't see it. Are you allowing? Because boundaries are the ultimate test. They reveal who is willing to honor your worth and who only values you when you're convenient. They show you who's truly in your corner and who's just sticking around because they can take advantage of your kindness. Think about a time when you set a boundary. Maybe you told a friend you couldn't be their emotional dumping ground anymore, or maybe you told a partner you needed more effort. Maybe you told your boss you wouldn't work overtime. Without compensation, how did they react? Did they respect it? Or did they try to make you feel guilty for standing up for yourself? That reaction tells you everything you need to know. People who genuinely value you will respect your boundaries because they respect you. They won't see them as obstacles, they'll see them as a guide for how to treat you with care. But the ones who don't, they'll resist, they'll push back, and when you finally enforce your limits, they may even walk away. Let them, because here's the truth. When you enforce your boundaries, you're not losing people who truly care about you. You're losing people who are only there because they could take advantage of your lack of them. And that's a gain, not a loss. So if someone constantly tests your boundaries, consider this your wake-up call. Pay attention, because how they handle your no is the purest test of whether they deserve your yes. This expansion gives the section more impact and depth. Let me know if you'd like any refinements. Rejection, it's a word that stings, isn't it? It carries weight, it carries memories. That time you weren't chosen, that time they walked away, that time you poured your heart into something only to be met with the door slammed shut. We've all been there, and in that moment, rejection doesn't feel like redirection. It feels like failure. It feels personal, like someone looked at you, your efforts, your love, your worth, and said not enough. But let's stop for a second. Let's challenge that story. Because what if rejection wasn't a verdict on your worth? What if it was a divine detour? What if every time someone said no to you, life was actually saying, not here, not yet? I have something better. Think about it. Have you ever looked back on a rejection and realized it was the best thing that ever happened to you? Maybe it was the job you didn't get only to land a better opportunity later. Maybe it was the relationship that fell apart only to make space for one that actually felt like home. Maybe it was the friend who faded away only for you to realize they were never truly in your corner to begin with. At the time, it felt like a loss. But in hindsight, you see it for what it was: a redirection, a course correction. A blessing disguises disappointment. See, rejection isn't a reflection of your value, it's a reflection of alignment. When something or someone exits your life, it's not because you weren't enough, it's because that situation, that person reclaimed your power. Take back control of your choices, your mindset, and your life. That opportunity wasn't aligned with where you're meant to go. And I know it's hard to see the bigger picture when you're in the middle of the storm. It's hard to trust that something better is coming when all you feel is the weight of the door that just closed. But I promise you there is a reason for every rejection, and your only job is to trust that reason even when it doesn't make sense yet. Because life is always guiding you whether you realize it or not. Every no is leading you to the right yes. Every closed door is pushing you toward the one that was meant for you all along. So the next time you feel rejected by a job, by a person, by a situation, ask yourself, what if this isn't happening to me? But for me, what if this pain is actually a sign that I'm being redirected to something far greater than what I was willing to settle for? Because that's exactly what rejection is. Not the end, not a judgment of your worth, but a signal, a redirection, a reminder that sometimes life removes what no longer serves us, not as a punishment, but as protection. And if you can trust that even when it hurts, you will never see rejection the same way again. This version makes the message powerful, emotional, deeply relatable. Let me know if you want any tweaks. Let's get real. For a second, how people treat you is a direct reflection of what you allow. Every interaction, every relationship, every moment of disrespect that goes unchecked teaches the people around you what they cannot get away with. Think about it. When someone repeatedly shows up late, cancels plans last minute, or dismisses your feelings and let it slide, what message are you sending? You're telling them it's okay, you can keep doing this, I won't hold you accountable. And trust me, people learn quickly. If you always bend, they'll keep pushing. If you tolerate crumbs, they'll never give you the whole meal. If you excuse bad behavior, they will assume there are no consequences. But here's the part most people miss. This isn't about them, it's about you. Because at the core of it, how others treat you is a mirror of how you treat yourself. If you don't set standards, they won't either. If you don't respect yourself enough to demand better, why would they? So ask yourself, what have I been teaching people about me? Have you been teaching them that your time is valuable, or that you'll always be available no matter how little they give? Have you been teaching them that you deserve respect, or that you'll tolerate mistreatment as long as you're not alone? Have you been teaching them that your boundaries are firm, or that they can be bent, broken if they push hard enough? This is the hard truth. People only rise to the level that you set. If you don't set the bar, they won't either. And I know standing up for yourself isn't easy, it's uncomfortable, it's scary, because enforcing your worth means risking rejection. It means possibly losing people who have only stayed because they benefited from your embraced discomfort for growth. The uncomfortable truth about change and why it's necessary. lack of boundaries. But here's the thing, anyone who leaves when you start value yourself never truly valued you to begin with. That's okay, let them go. Because the right people, the ones who truly respect you and won't be scared off by your boundaries, they'll be drawn to them. So what do you do from here? You rewrite the lesson, you start showing up differently, you stop making excuses for bad behavior, you stop lowering your standards just to keep people comfortable, you stop explaining why you deserve basic respect. Because respect shouldn't have to be explained. You teach people through your actions, through your boundaries, through your self-worth, that you are not someone to be taken for granted, that you are not an afterthought, that you are not an option, a convenience, or a backup plan. And the ones who truly value you, they will rise to meet you there, and the ones who don't, they were never meant to stay. Either way, you win. Let's be honest, comfort feels good. It's familiar, it's safe. It asks nothing of us. Comfort is staying in the same job, even when it drains you. It's holding onto relationships, even when they no longer fulfill you. It's avoiding difficult conversation because you don't want to rock the boat. But here's the problem, nothing grows in comfort. The life you want, the respect you deserve, the dreams you're chasing, they don't exist in the comfort zone. They exist in the unknown, in the moments where you choose courage over ease, in the choices that scare you but also set you free. And I get it, choosing courage is terrifying. It means stepping into uncertainty. It means walking away from people who have been in your life for years. It means saying no when you've been conditioned to say yes. It means standing up for yourself even when your voice shakes. But let me tell you something, growth demands discomfort. Think about every moment in your life where you became stronger, wiser, more confident. Did it happen when everything was easy? No, it happened in the hard moments, the moments when you were forced to dig deep, to stand alone, to face rejection, to take risks. It happened in the moments when you had every reason to stay comfortable, but you chose courage instead, because courage isn't about feeling ready. It's not about waiting for the fear to disappear. It's about acting. Despite the fear, look at the people who inspire you, the ones who seem to live with confidence, who have created lives that align with their values, who walk with a sense of purpose. Do you think they got there by playing it safe? No, they got there by being uncomfortable, by making tough choices, by facing fear and moving forward anyway. So if you're waiting for the right moment, if you're waiting to feel ready before you make that move, stop. The fear isn't going away. The discomfort isn't disappearing. The only way to the other side is through. And here's something else to remember, comfort isn't always safe. Staying in the wrong, you are the author of your own story. Stop living for others and start writing the life you want. Place just because it's familiar doesn't protect you, it limits you, it keeps you small, it keeps you from becoming the person you're meant to be. So the next time you're faced with a choice, one that asks you to choose between staying comfortable or stepping into the unknown, choose courage every time, because comfort might feel safe, but courage is what sets you free. And freedom, that's where your real life begins. This version makes it deep, relatable, and action-driven. Let me know if you want to tweak anything. Let's talk about something. We don't pay enough attention to your energy, not just your physical energy, but your emotional, mental, and spiritual energy, the stuff that fuels you, the stuff that makes you feel alive, the stuff that once drained can take days, weeks, even years to recover. And yet, how often do we give it away freely without thought? We entertain conversations that exhaust us. We stay in spaces that drain us. We give our time to people who don't appreciate it. We pour into relationships that never pour back. We work jobs that deplete us, thinking one day it'll all be worth it. And before we know it, we're running on empty, mentally fatigued, emotionally burned out, spiritually disconnected. And we wonder why we feel stuck. But here's the truth, your energy is your most valuable resource. And if you don't protect it, no one else will think about it. When your energy is vibrant, you feel unstoppable, you think clearly, you create, you love deeply, you move through life with confidence, you attract opportunities, you set boundaries with ease. But when your energy is low, everything feels like a struggle. Small problems feel massive. Negative people affect you more than they should. You second guess yourself. You tolerate what you shouldn't. You feel disconnected from who you are. This is why protecting your energy is not selfish, it's necessary. Start paying attention to who and what drains you. Do certain people leave you feeling exhausted after every interaction? Do certain environments make you feel anxious and unworthy? Do certain habits like scrolling endlessly on social media or constantly saying yes to things you don't want to do leave you feeling depleted? Because here's the thing, not everyone deserves access to you. Not every text needs a response. Not every invitation needs a yes. Not every battle is worth fighting. Your energy is sacred, and you should treat it that way. So how do you protect it? Be selective with your time. Stop giving it to people who take more than they give. Set boundaries and enforce them. If someone constantly drains you, limit your exposure to them. Listen to your body. If something makes you feel heavy, pay attention to that. Spend time with people who refill you, the ones who inspire you, uplift you. See, you prioritize rest and peace. You don't have to be available 24/7. Choose what deserves what. Not every's not Not every conflict, opinion, or expectation is worth your energy. And final wake-up call: no more waiting, no more excuses. Step into your power now. Most importantly, give yourself permission to walk away from anything that disrupts your peace, because at the end of the day, your energy is the fuel for your life. And if you waste it on the wrong people, situations, you'll have nothing left for what truly matters. So guard it, protect it, honor it, because your energy is sacred, and so are you. This makes it deep, practical, and empowering. Let me know if you'd like to adjust anything. If you've been waiting for someone to see your worth, waiting for someone to treat you better, waiting for the world to hand you the respect and love you deserve, stop waiting. You don't need permission to value yourself. You don't need validation to enforce your boundaries. You don't need approval to step into your power. Because at the end of the day, you teach people how to treat you. You decide what you will and won't tolerate. You're the gatekeeper of your energy, your time, your peace. And if someone refuses to respect that, if they dismiss your boundaries, drain your energy, or fail to appreciate your presence, let them go. Their inability to see your worth does not make you any less valuable. And yes, choosing yourself is uncomfortable. Walking away from what no longer serves you is painful. Setting boundaries might cost you some relationships, but remember this: courage over comfort every time. Because the life you want, the respect you deserve, the peace you crave, it exists on the other side of discomfort. So if the people around you don't value you, if you feel drained, unseen, disrespected, this is your sign to wake up. This is your moment to stop settling, to stop explaining, to stop overgiving, to stop shrinking. Your energy is sacred. Your worth is non-negotiable. Your life is yours to protect. So stand up, set the boundary, walk away if you need to. Choose yourself again and again. Because of people who truly value you, they won't need to be convinced, they'll just know. The ones who don't, let them go, because you are far too valuable to be anywhere you are not truly respected. This is your wake-up call now. 24 conclusion: own your story. You were never meant to play small. It's time to rise. Act on it.